glassware part of our part 4 of our experiment. We're going to use what's called a volumetric flask. So this is a 50 milliliter capacity volumetric flask. On the neck of the flask, there's a white line. That white line marks the 50 milliliter mark on the flask. So we're going to transfer this 50 mils of water again to the graduated cylinder. And so we're going to first add water to our volumetric flask, to this white line, this 50 milliliter mark. And then we're going to transfer that water to a graduated cylinder. So we're going to add the water, and we're going to make sure that we add exactly 50 by filling the cylinder to the white line on the neck of the flask. And again, if we overshoot that white line, that's no problem. We can always use our transfer pipette to add and take away water. If we don't have enough, we'll use our transfer pipette, like I'm doing now, to add more. And if I overshoot my white line, which I did, I get eye level to my white line, and I'll remove the excess water so that the bottom of the meniscus curve is exactly on that white line. And there we have exactly 50 mils of water. So now we've got our 50 milliliters of water. See the bottom of the meniscus, that curve? There's the bottom of the curve, is exactly on the white line. So now we're going to transfer this water to our graduated cylinder. And then we're going to determine how much water we measured. So we see the 50 mil line there. So now I'm going to get eye level. And we see we have exactly 50 milliliters of water. And so on your data sheet for your volume of water in 50 mil volumetric flask, our first trial is 50.0 milliliters. We have exactly 50 milliliters of water. And so we need to do, again, 2 trials, just like we did with the 100 mil beaker determinations. So we'll remove the water from the cylinder. We'll shake out the excess. And then we'll fill the volumetric flask up again to the white line. And then we'll transfer it to the graduated cylinder and determine the volume for trial 2. Again, we're going to get eye level to the white line. Okay, we have exactly 50 mils of water in the volumetric flask. And now we're going to transfer it to our graduated cylinder. And again, we're going to get eye level to the meniscus. And again, we're right on that 50 mil mark. So again, we have 50.0 milliliters. So what we're seeing is that the volumetric flask is a heck of a lot more accurate at determining 50 milliliters than a beaker. And so we'll do one more trial. And the reason why we're doing multiple trials is when you're trying to determine the accuracy, for example, what we're doing now, the accuracy of a piece of glassware, a piece of laboratory glassware, you want to do multiple trials because you want to see, number one, how accurate is this glassware in determining my set volume that I'm trying to determine, here in this case 50 mils. But what you also want to know is about yourself. How good is my technique? How precise is my technique? Am I getting about the same answer every single time? If I am, that means my technique is good. I'm very precise. And if I'm supposed to be measuring 50 mils, I do my 3 trials, and then I add the 3 trials together and divide by 3 and get the average volume. If the average is close to 50, then that means my glassware is accurate. If each one of my trials, trial 1, trial 2, trial 3, are very close to each other and they don't deviate very far from each other, or the difference between the measurements is not very great, then that means that my technique is precise. So, for our 3rd trial, we'll place 50 mils in our volumetric flask again. We make sure we have exactly 50 by getting eye level to the meniscus, which is the bottom part of the curve. And I see that I don't have enough water, so I need to add some more using my transfer pipette. And now I'm exactly on the 50 mil line. We're exactly on that white line. And so now again, for the final time, we'll transfer to the graduated cylinder and determine the volume. And again, get eye level to the top layer of the liquid and read the bottom of the curve. And again, we're right on 50.0 milliliters. And so we see again that all 3 of our determinations were exactly the same thing. So therefore, we were very precise in our determination. And the average of those 3, of course, is 50, which is exactly the measurement we were going after. So not only was our technique precise, but the volumetric flask turned out to be perfectly accurate in measuring out 50 milliliters.